And welcome, y'all, to ZenChaos. I am Dean. That over there is my man Zen. What's up, my brother? How you feeling?
How you doing, my dude? Feeling pretty good.
Listen, we're feeling good. So there's some other people, some other places that aren't feeling good.
Nah.
No, not at all. And shout outs and prayers go out to all those involved and all those affected. Do want to state this, to the people of Ukraine, shout out to y'all. Fuck Russia. Now, I do want to state this. We can't really get into specifics about the war because of the timing of when we're recording and when the release of this is going to go out. We'll let you motherfuckers figure out the magic behind that. But Zen, there is something that, it is a bit timeless, and that's definitely going to have an argument, definitely coming over within America. Not like it's a new argument, but it's going to ignite one all over, especially with the midterms right around the corner, baby. And instead of talking about it, we're just gonna go ahead and share with y'all a clip that sparked this whole thing that we're about to go ahead and get into. All right, now, so
I do want to say before you jump in, based off what you shared, F Ukraine in a little way. If you know, you know. Say that much. You know.
Actually,
that was one I held off on too. I first saw it, and I'm like, I'm not buying this. This is some setup. Like, you're doing this. This is from somewhere else. This ain't really related.
Right.
Nah, you got somebody out there verifying. Like, nope, they ain't BS.
Nah. So I will say this. I gotta correct you on this. Is that you don't want to say F Ukraine.
Not Ukraine.
You want to say
as a whole.
Fuck the European Union.
Yeah.
That's what you want to state, because, and then to an extent, fuck NATO as well, because those are the ones that are allowing that grave misjustice and obviously lack of care of human life. We'll let y'all do the research on that one, baby. We'll spoon feed you certain things. We're gonna drop some gems on other
take
things.
It back, not F Ukraine.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
At the EU.
You know what I mean? Fucked up. Now, let's get into this thing, right? So DC Drano made a post. I don't know if he made it up himself or if this was something that just kind of, like that he screenshotted. This is what it states for those who are just listening. Ukraine civilians have been called upon to take arms, guns, quotations, guns to fight. Boys as young as 14 years old are given guns to fight the Russians. This is the first time thousands of the Ukrainian people have held a gun for the first time. Everyone should be familiar with guns. They protect innocents from evil and tyrants. This is a lesson for all of us. And as people can see, I liked it. So, now, before we get into what you just reposted, what you tagged the Berry Gang in on the Twitter machine. What are your initial thoughts just based directly off that?
I have a mixed review. I agree that everybody should be familiar with firearms.
Right.
But even in a situation like this,
can you bring the mic close up to you, my brother?
My bad.
Nah, you're okay.
Even in a situation like this, I wouldn't necessarily want that regular. I don't do this out there wholly, because you might be more of a threat to your own people than a help.
Yes.
So that's where I feel everybody should be familiar with, not be like in total shock of the first time holding or first time being forced to use it. But I also don't think like, if this is your first time, then I want you even out there fighting, because you might kill off the people who are really here and can do things just because you don't know how to handle. You out here shaking. I'd be shaking. So you want me out here doing like this? Like, come on.
So that actually, so now you bring up an interesting point, right? So now, just from my family background, just like my lifestyle, whatever the case may be, and what I'm like into, like I've held guns, shotguns, whatever the case may be. Even, I have a buddy of mine from the military. I remember there was a summer when he got out. Obviously from doing from serving this country. he taught us mad different tactics.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were like kind of training and drilling it. So once again, not to say that the nerds wouldn't be going in, of course, probably like that.
You have more control over them.
You were yeah, allegedly, but who knows when the shit hits the fan? You know what I'm saying? Like that. It sounds good, but let's not. You know what I'm saying? Everything's different, right? But I will say this is that like I definitely believe that there should be like positive gun advocacy within this country. It has turned into something completely different. And, you know, I'm not going to state that for obvious reasons. There needs to be something done in regards to, you know, the spree of like, you know, kids taking guns to school and shooting it up. You know what I mean? Even though I won't even say that what I was going to say next, but that does need to be addressed. Mm-hmm. But under the same token, these same individuals, no matter how we want to cut it, these same individuals stating on one end here that they want to like kind of like ban those kind of weapons that would be able to protect if enemy forces or your own government invades. I've said this on like previous episodes, a conversation with Dean, Let There Be Black in the Berry, wherever the fuck it is. The same individuals right now in the Ukraine are the same, not in the Ukraine, but the same individuals who are yelling to, you know, obviously, you know, arm them, help them, give them like, you know, this advanced weaponry. Are the same individuals here during like, you know, when it was like the Black Lives Matter protest. And then those same individuals were also yelling that, oh, like, you know, obviously, like, you know, cops are wrong. You know, everything is like bad, whatever the case be. You can't trust them to fund the police. Those are the same individuals who are advocate within this country. I'm not talking about anywhere else, but within this country, they would then advocate for less guns to be able to protect yourself, then instruct the governments, which is then going to make a larger police state, which is what they what they claim to be against. The whole thing is baffling. I'm bamboozled and goddamn it confused.
One point that you did bring up that I think would actually be addressed by educating is the school thing. I think kids are less likely to end up bringing a gun to school if you were to educate everyone on gun safety. Have them all hold them, learn how to use them, load them, be taught like proper ways of locking them up and doing things. I think it would lessen the opportunity for these things to happen if you were positively teaching people gun stuff, gun education in general.
So, something I just looked up real fast on Google, have to do more research into it. Somebody can like fact check me if I'm completely off base. But it seems as if in the United States of America, as recently as the 1960s, gun safety was taught in schools. Now, guns and gun safety and the thought of guns are allegedly turning a different avenue. But then, honestly, you have to look at who it's turning an avenue with. I think it's turning an avenue within, like, I would honestly say a certain demographic of white America. But when you look at Black America, we are not adverse to guns at all. Yeah, there's like a small minority everywhere, but for most part, no. You want to know how I completely know that? And this is just like the sociologist in me who picked something up interestingly. I happen to watch Medea's Homecoming. And I don't give a fuck what no one out there's got to say about it. I don't give a fuck what no one out there's got to say about Tyler Perry. I don't give a fuck. That shit was funny. It was hilarious. Yeah, it was a little corny. Yeah, it was the Madea shit. But I had a grand old fucking time in this motherfucker. But what was interesting was, obviously, we know how brazen Madea is with guns. But on Netflix, you see, like, when you're searching for the shit, one of the still pictures that they have is Madea with the motherfucking shotgun. But yet this country is so against fucking guns, right? Or are they only against guns when it comes to white Americans because they really don't care about guns when it comes to Black America, i.e. Chicago, or i.e. anywhere else where we're in a high population and that's where, like, you know, the gun violence deaths are soaring.
So now wouldn't that be countered by enacting stricter gun laws to make sure Black people can't get them?
But then, now we're playing chess.
Isn't that what they're doing? Isn't that what they do or have done? So like the guns that are affecting us aren't legal guns. But if you make it harder for the people in those areas to buy guns to protect themselves, it seems like the rules that you're setting up are more affecting Black people.
Issue is, I think you would be correct in that. You would be correct in that. But I still would have to raise you this point in regards to when you're looking at the kind of guns. there could be certain that the ATF is sophisticated enough that they can crack down on illegal guns and illegal gun sales if they want to, and have no adverse effect to the regular population. It's because of the deep-rooted fuckery nonsense and racism within the criminal justice system that it is what it is. There's no way that y'all could say it's not. Go ahead and read The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. So when you look at that system, of course, that's why I think that's why that issue is. But still, regardless, I'm still very much an advocate of the Second Amendment. I'm still very much an advocate of being able for the right to bear arms. And the reason being is because when you, no matter what side of the government you're on, right? No matter if you were with the Black Lives Matter protests and you were a part of that defund the police mob, or if you were a part of the goddamn the treasonous insurrections of motherfucking January 6th on the Capitol riot when they stormed the Capitol. You know what I mean? Like no matter which part of the camp you are, I think both will be able to agree that you want to be able to have the right to bear arms to protect yourself against a government that you believe is out to get you, no matter what side of the fence you're on. But one side, which happens to be the treasonous side, they're all in on the weapons. But the other one, they're for it sometimes when they want the government to protect them the same way that they actually want to then end up really truthfully breaking down. But then when shit hits the fan, he looks at them like, Daddy, help. What are we doing?
That's where I think people like Maj come in. He's an advocate. He's the one that I got the idea of gun laws are set to harm Black people. Are they put in place to stop Black people from getting guns? I haven't finished hearing him flesh out that idea, but
let's see it, and then let's kind of get into it a little bit.
His idea plays into his tweet because he's huge on gun advocacy.
This is the tweet that at Schris H sent over to at the Berry Gang 1. Both are on the Twitter machine. Y'all go ahead and y'all give a follow. So now Maj Toure had said. Now, so here is the original tweet, right? Toure, excuse me. Yeah. Here's the original tweet. Some of these videos got me ready to grab my stick and fly to Ukraine. I'm calling on all Slaughter Gang members, OTF, NBA, the GDs, and the BDs. We got to put it into this shit. And so then
responds to that
in a wonderful fashion. You don't live in Ukraine. You're just saying stuff. You can't fly guns there. Redirect that energy to your hood. Listen, is the man wrong?
Absolutely not. The guy, the tweet is dumb. Like, what are you going to do? Hop on a plane with guns because that's what you can do? Like, you all gonna strap up and go buy plane tickets? You care so much about these random white people.
I think
own Black neighbors.
Ooh, okay, Rev.
We out here just we're not gonna say nothing about them. We'll handle that.
When I look at this tweet, what I see is direct Black hate. And what I mean by that is the fact of the matter is that you are so willing to go to another country that is going against a motherfucking superpower, and you assume that you and your fucking friends can actually make a difference within that war, but then there is no call to arms for your own community. I have only one thing to say. Go kill yourself. I said it. I don't give a fuck. Fuck off. Like, fuck you. You're a piece of shit. Like, there's no way, there is no way to get around your fuckery and nonsense in that regard. What do you care about at the end of the day? What the fuck are you caring about Ukrainian lives over your own neighbors' lives? Right. Who look like you.
And live with you. You live with each other. These are your neighbors.
You know what's funny, Zen? Because one thing that we alluded to earlier, but we're gonna have to drop this for them right now. What's hilarious to me is that because you're seeing within the European countries how they value refugees, how they view and see refugees. See, there are clips going around, and you know what, Zen? I'm gonna keep talking about it. I'm gonna have to pull a clip up real fast, right? But there are clips going around that are clearly showing European countries basically stating that, like, oh, these aren't regular refugees. These are Europeans. They look like us. Like, we shouldn't be out here killing each other. This is ridiculous. Clearly showing a lack of care for, anybody else's kind of lives, especially black and brown people. And then I know there's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna say, well, what did you expect? This is the EU, yada yada yada. It's still deplorable and still needs to be stated and still needs to be said. And it kind of shit.
And it's still 22. It's 2022. And we're still dealing with this, but everybody wants to say, oh, we're over it now. We're past it now.
Yeah, no, we sure are.
Everywhere.
Nah, we sure are past it. Hold on, give me a second, because I just want to copy this bitch, and now I'm gonna share this bitch. All right, so this shit is fucking baffling, and this is why it's kind of like, oh, so this is the shit that you want to go ahead and jump to defend, right? So,
for me, because
can you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, hold on. Let's go back. Right. So here's this. Look at this.
It's very emotional for me because I see European people with blue eyes and blonde hair being killed. Children being killed every day with Putin's missiles and his helicopters and his rockets.
And so, of course, I understand and respect.
I'm sorry.
So here's another one, right? From France. We are in the 21st century. We're in a European city, and we have cruise missiles fire as though we were in Iraq or Afghanistan. Can you imagine? Here's another one. The unthinkable has happened. Oh, I'm sorry.
And this is not a developing third world nation. This is Europe.
15,000 people were coming into Poland
Here we go.
in the last 24 hours. When you look at what happened in the last refugee crisis in Europe back in 2015, Poland was one of the EU countries that was hesitant to take in refugees. Talk about what has changed at a different position now.
Yeah, well, just to put it bluntly, these are not refugees from Syria. These are refugees from neighboring Ukraine. I mean, that, quite frankly, is part of it. These are Christians, they're white, they're very similar to people, many people
Pologne, parce que ça va être une question
important question we're not talking about here. Syrians fleeing, we're talking about Europeans.
In bomb shelters. But this isn't a place, with all due respect, like Iraq or Afghanistan, that has seen
now, obviously, them saying Iraq and Afghanistan is not crazy or out of the way, right? Because that is the shit that was been going on over there. But I wanted to bring this up because what has been noted and shown is that there were African students or Caribbean students studying within the Ukraine medicine, trying to get over the border and being denied, saying that Ukrainian lives come first. So my question becomes to whomever started this fucking tweet. My question becomes to you: why the fuck do you give a fuck about them so much? But they don't give if you were in the same situation, they wouldn't give two shits about you. I'm not saying that you shouldn't feel for Ukraine. Our government's out there giving them money. Go ahead and fight those wars, even though they can't fix shit within our own shit. Like we can't throw money to fix homelessness. We can't figure out this whole student debt crisis. We're not able to fucking battle inflation, but we're able to go ahead and get the money, whatever the case may be. Okay, whatever that happens. Everyone has to throw in their part. I do agree with that because guess what? Fuck Russia. But under that same token, you're going to decide to go ahead and you're going to want to just not give a fuck about your own home where you're going to have to come back to. You want to go better somebody else's place. I guess I got one thing to say about that, Mr. Zen. What I was told is that you can't fucking go ahead and give bricks out if your house isn't built. And Black America, our house is not built, so we're not able to be giving out a whole bunch of motherfucking bricks. No. God damn it, I'm done.
And y'all got terrible aim. So what help are you really gonna do?
Yeah, you're right. Like most of them, like it's funny because it's the confidence of the average hood man. I respect. I love it. It's like because you got to go out there, win the day, seize the day, go after it. I'm talking about like the gangsters, right? The gangsters. I remember having a conversation one time, we were out there, going ahead to get some flour, me and my friends. We were talking to this other brother who was giving, whatever the case may be, we were having a conversation. And then we were just talking, and then he's from Jamaica, shit like that. I remember he just was being like, yo, like me and the boys from the bush would fuck American troops up if they ever came over there. Them niggas don't know this shit, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, do you understand the shit that these motherfuckers train for? Do you understand that before they even came there, they would have built some fucking simulation of the fucking land? And then of what they're going to do. Train that bitch efficiently against so many different motherfucking goddamn different attack points and avenues. And then go ahead and fuck y'all up. And niggas was like, never. And it's like, you know what? I appreciate that. I respect that. Good on you. What the fuck do I know? You may be correct.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you know your land. But we train hard.
I'm going on these niggas. So once again, what the fuck are these motherfuckers going to do? Like, fix the shit against people on your level. Now you trying to go ahead and fight a superpower? Come on, son. These niggas probably didn't even vote.
But this is what the response to the tweet is why I like Maj, because he's not dumb, and he is a gun advocate. He's one I've gotten a lot of notes in relation to my thoughts on guns from. Like some of a lot of my thoughts in relation to it have changed from listening to him, from him advocating for going into your regular neighborhoods and teaching people about guns so that it's not looked at as this thing we need to be afraid of, this thing that we need to try and ban and put restrictions on people getting. We need to open up access to and educate people on. Because if you want people to be able to protect themselves, you want to know how to use and handle the tool that you're going to be giving out to people to protect themselves with.
Which for some reason within our country, we want to just make it like a bad thing. Kind of like, oh, don't go near that. That's fucking terrible. Don't get me wrong. It is terrible because we haven't, like, as you stated, we haven't taught people enough.
Right. I'll say even my father-in-law, for example, he taught my wife and her brother to basically like stay away from it. I think they got chances to handle it and stuff, but it was like you can touch this, but stay away from it. So it's like he, at least from his cop mindset, had a gun safety element in his head. So if you're not going to have that in your regular household, at the very least, teach them the right stuff so that they could show, which to me is just going to leave your kid as less likely to, hey, let me take this and go play with it here because I think that that's okay. I see them do it. They ain't tell me nothing about it.
Why not?
Right. This must be okay.
Listen, well, I think you and I are on the same page with that. We got to fucking go ahead teach true gun safety within there, especially for the kids. Because, you know, obviously the kids are the future. Matter. And now, what happened?
Black guns matter. That's my thing.
Black guns do matter.
Black guns matter.
And I don't think there's enough of us who really truly believe that.
I know you had told me go out and get strapped, and I was like, all right, let me look at this. Yo, here the regulations
are ridiculous. So, but they do give you the stopping power that you need. So at least it's not that. So like for me, it's kind of like, okay, I can get what I need to stop some shit, and we can kind of get it going. Now, let's have a little bit of a conversation, huh? Let's kind of get into it. Speaking of the kids, right? Because you know, here at ZenChaos, we love the kids. You got kids, I don't, but we love the kids, right?
I got a kid. Don't put that on me.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. You got a kid.
A kid.
A kid. A kid.
I don't have multiple. I ain't popping nothing out that I don't know about. Not that I know of.
My bad.
I went some years wondering.
He was like, do I have a fucking kid out there right now? I've only had like scares, but then like they were like disproven like a week or two later. But like, there was a one point in time where I was like, I'm gonna be a father. All right, we're gonna have to change the whole life. But it didn't happen. To God be the glory. But now I want to talk about what was originally proposed that you put in the chat.
Yes.
And then you also put the Mitt Romney shit in the chat as well. Am I correct?
Yes.
So now this is in regards to child tax expiration, right? Now that is something that came about, you know, due to COVID, through COVID bill. And you sent this in, and then it was followed up by, "Do Dems really care?" And is it the Dems? Do Dems really care, or is it does President Joe Manchin really care? But we'll get into that in a second.
In reading, it seems to be Manchin and Republicans.
Manchin, excuse me.
Manchin and Republicans that don't care. They care about something that the article that I shared touches on as to what the crux of their argument is.
Yes.
Which is, we think that you're going to be disincentivized to work. We need to see a work requirement mixed in.
That is everything when it comes to the Republicans. They're always just like, you got to show that you want to go to work and do that kind of thing. And to be honest with you,
money, you're not going to want to work.
But then you have to ask this question in regards to, is it bad that they want work requirements behind certain things? Is it really truthfully that bad?
No. In theory,
right?
No.
So then I don't understand why the Dems would fight that. That should be a bipartisan issue of like, yeah, you got to work to get this shit.
Which I think would be fine.
I don't think there's any kind of problem.
I don't think that was the issue. I don't think. See, that's part of it where that might not be the issue because now Romney's putting a work requirement.
Exactly. Yes, that's the thing. But then also too. So hold on, no, you're fine because that's not that. Because with the Mitt Romney thing, I guess allegedly the way Mitt Romney wants to propose this is that he's
giving them way more.
Now, but allegedly. But Romney's form of extra monthly payments would add stringent work requirements, / programs that aid vulnerable Americans, and make significant changes to the tax code. Now, what I need to know are what are the work requirements that they're calling stringent, because I guess everyone has a different kind of view on that.
Yeah.
Another thing is when you say / programs that aid vulnerable Americans and make significant changes to the tax code, when you say / programs that aid vulnerable Americans, whom and what are you talking about?
It talks about it. It does. It touches on it. It's deeper in, but the basic of it was, it's kind of like an even trade-off. You're cutting temporary assistance TANF programs, which are welfare programs. You're cutting funding from one welfare program, but putting it into another. So you're kind of not losing anything there. And then it's going to raise taxes on higher income earners, but it'll give them a write-off also. So you're circling around and paying for that itself there too. So that's where in this article, they're questioning, they're like, we don't really see what the issue is. And this sounds like a win and kind of the best deal that you can go with, because you're going to tax the higher ups, but they're just going to get to write it off later. And you're going to only kind of screw.
What does that do to our
economy? The upper middle people, as always.
Exactly.
Kind of. Something, or it's like the super low people kind of get screwed. But
hold on. So they want to remove. So then, according to this, to what people are saying, they're like, if we're removing social programs like SNAP and tax deductions, that helps families. It ends up being a wash at best.
Kind of. But it'll give people more money. And it's for longer than a year, unlike Biden's.
Only if you have a kid,
Biden's
too,
like
right?
a year thing.
Well, but I guess the whole thing is that like, all right, you're gonna have this new child tax care credit, right? But then what happens if you don't have a kid? You were on this system, you're trying to get help, trying to figure it out, and then all of a sudden now you wouldn't be eligible for that. Now, do we then increase our homeless issue? See, there's a direct correlation to all this kind of shit. We're just putting band-aids on type of shit.
This is to try and curb the child poverty line thing, the child poverty thing, which is if we give these people this much money, if they're $1 over, you're out of that bracket. That's the element of this that I'm like, you're throwing out this child poverty number, but
it goes back to hood housing a little bit, right?
This extra $3,000 a year, if that takes you out of poverty, you're still not doing too great anyway. So yes, you dropped a bit, and yes, that's bad, and yes, we should keep giving them the money because they're at the poverty line. But if this extra couple grand this little bit is keeping you out, that's rough.
The whole thing is you just have to attack poverty in a whole, because if you just attack one portion of it, it's still not fixing the issue. Like this to me sounds a little bit like hood housing, whereas you have like an income line in certain places, or you'll pay rent based off like a certain, like, you know, how much money you make or whatever the case may be. And then you get people thinking like, oh, I don't want to maybe not take that extra shift because then my rent's going to raise, whatever the case may be, which then still keeping people in the same fucking place. It's not actually fixing the issue. So once again,
the only difference though that I've noticed with these is these programs, at least let's take my job, for example, we're not counting that money. We know you're getting it, and we know that the state's giving it to you, but we're not counting that money against you. So
yeah,
in a sense, people should be using this to try and get ahead. And if you can, do. A lot of people aren't, but if you're not going to now count this money against these people,
can we make them take financial literacy courses?
That would be wonderful.
Why isn't that attached to all this shit? Like if you're going to be on these programs, why is it not attached that you have to go, you know, go to some financial literacy courses? Because you may not, obviously it's going to in the beginning be a small, you know, percentage that you get that may take, you know, take it to heat, or maybe not, maybe it'll be more, but really give people the chance to get off this shit. But just giving people money and then just being like, oh, we're mad at just staying here, not doing nothing. You're not really giving them any kind of tools to be able to kind of get ahead. Or do anything. And then those financial literacy classes, why can't, like, the same ones that you're going to be offering to them, that obviously I think that we as America would not be mad at if you decide to make some classes that we had to pay for people to go to. We'd be perfectly fine with that. I know I would be.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would have an issue with that.
No, you fucking go ahead and do this shit. And then, like, if you're above a certain tax bracket, you have to pay, like, maybe, I don't know, $20 or whatever, some stupid bullshit it'll be. You go to these fucking classes and you learn how to truly get ahead so that we can truthfully alleviate this fucking system. What are we doing, Zen?
I think that's largely what it is I'm for giving people the extra money. I did see that it seems to help. You have extra money for food, you're a little less concerned. People came in and were able to, in a sense, stack up a couple months worth because they were getting more than they're used to getting, and didn't happen. Not everyone was blowing through it.
Right.
So it's like, giving these people this to work with helps, and it gives them less to even argue back on when it's like, yo, you're getting all this money. You can't really complain so much now. And people get it when you phrase it to them in the right way. When you just slap it on them like, you should be fine. You don't need this. Like, no, well, you're getting a good amount now to try and get yourself into position. It's not enough to get you out, but it should be able to get you going.
But then
financial literacy courses would help huge,
because you're giving them tools that they can then use. Like, just imagine giving a man a tool and just being like, figure it out. Of course, some will, but then some won't. And then the ones who won't, because you're only as strong as your weakest link within society. And if we haven't noticed something, especially going across the pond, then we need to fucking start kind of revving some shit up around this fucking country. The bitch asses has to leave. We have to actually start helping our sick, helping our fucking poor. You know what I mean? One way of that is fucking financial literacy courses. Another way is making sure that we do not pass that act, I forgot the name of it, that's going to allow vaccine, like the manufacturers, through this fucking COVID shit, just kind of get away scot-free for fucking the deaths and other nonsense, the fuckery that they had going on.
They added that. That's been in there. I'm pretty sure that's not new.
But now they're trying to repeal it, or whatever the case may be, to put something else in it. You know how this political game goes. But I think that's...
Financial literacy would be huge. That could be something that you could work into Department of Labor. I mean, that might already be something the Department of Labor does. I don't know. I could actually try and look into that, but
can't be because guess what? Especially in the town I grew up in. No, in the town I grew up in, would have heard about it somehow, some way. Somebody would have talked about it. Now can't be, especially with social media going around. You know what? Fuck it. Let's Google it right now.
I would just say there are certain people, man.
You get welfare in America. Do they require?
Oh, require is no. I'm going to give you that. That's a definite no.
Okay.
There's no requirement.
That's what I mean. It needs to be a requirement. But does America offer?
Can you force people?
Yes. If I'm giving you this money, yes. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. If I'm giving you this money, there needs to be conditions. You can put conditions on certain shit. The same
So,
way that
hold up.
in
So,
hood house. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
If you did a financial breakdown of how much of your money is coming out, if you're giving them $20, are you really gonna dictate that they have to do it this way?
Yes, because then that way it becomes less, and then maybe now I only have to give $5, and then it's going to different shit. Or maybe if I am giving $20, it's going to truly fucking like sick. Like now we can put it towards like disabled people. You can start looking towards the home. Like we can start allocating our money better because more people will know what to do with their money. It's gonna make a stronger fucking society.
See, I don't know if I don't know about requiring financial literacy. I guess maybe if you're going to collect ongoing help, cash assistance, yes. Food stamps, no. I wouldn't set that as a requirement for food money. To me, food money is food money. Yes, it's government assistance, but it's money for food. I don't care. At the end of the day, you gotta eat.
Yes, you have to eat, but then
if you look for work, cool. If you aren't gonna manage your money well, that's unfortunate.
I understand that, but then I still believe that if you're gonna be getting this, right, because you need it, because obviously you're not making enough money. So, or maybe you're mismanaging your money. Don't know, but at least you should have to you have to fucking go to these classes, or and I'm not saying that I don't know what it breaks down to. Maybe you have to go to 3 classes every 6 months. Or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, okay.
Or maybe
I could see something like that.
Because
there's that other element of
I have to go to work. I can't make this shit. Yada yada yada. But then you know what?
Yeah, the restrictions of people getting around.
Now we have online. Now you got different
shit. You do have. Hey, I'm homeless. I'm living in this shelter over here in Mastic. I'm working over in Smithtown, and you got to try. I have no car. I've worked it out with a coworker to pick me up, but how am I going to get to these other classes that you're requiring me to go to? And if I don't go to them, everything gets cut off.
Here we go now, and here we go. So what we would do is that, because obviously this is something that you would want to actually invest a significant amount of money in, because this you believe this is a program that can really help society, right? So then within shelters and places that obviously cater to the homeless who are on those disabilities. Or excuse me, on the who cater to people who are on social services. They should have technology that you can go online, maybe sit through the class, have to answer the questions, whatever the fuck it is. But there should be something that at least if somebody catches something of it, they can just better themselves a little bit, and then the next person better themselves a little bit. You know what I mean? You're not going to save everybody, but you can start saving more people than what we are. And then truthfully, and then at the end of the day, help. Well, then no, any funding, you just got to do what Mitt Romney's doing, and you start diverting funds from elsewhere. And what I mean by that is, we have wasteful government spending everywhere. You can start slashing and cutting shit that really means nothing to no one. Why
cut our defense spending? All that bread we put into our defense spending, we can cut into that to put toward this. We spend a good amount of money. It's not like we ain't
like I said, there are a whole bunch of other departments that are around that we can start going and slashing. The Defense Department, me personally, am not a fan of looking and touching at all. I think we get different people in there. You want to know why? Because you got that crazy guy over there in Russia who's doing wild shit. So I don't want to cut our defense budget.
You want to just leave all that money alone. You good?
We can start. No, I think we actually start allocating. Else. No, we need to start allocating money elsewhere. Yeah, but leave that money alone, because there's other places that you can go to. You leave education alone. You leave the health department alone. You leave those places alone, and then there are other places in the nature shit, and there are other stupid fucking fuckery shit that we got going on. Did you know that we were studying why men's hair turn gray? Because you know what I mean. We were studying is that excuse me, or why does stress turn your hair gray?
You want to know?
But we spent $32 million towards that. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of money that we can allocate to different kind of shit. Rand Paul puts out lists every fucking year about how much wasteful government spending.
Yeah,
we can easily divert a lot of that money towards elsewhere. Leave that government spending alone. You know what I'm
saying? We have money that we are blowing.
So exactly. Yeah. So let's just do the right thing with it.
Yes, a lot of these things would, but at the again, is it a big government thing, or is this a states thing? The money that's allocated to your social services or to social programs, because this would be like an outside of social services social program type thing. This to me doesn't even sound like something that would work from really within the system. Just because like a lot of our homelessness is not dealt with by social services housing. It's dealt with by a landlord who buys a house and then rents it out or rents out rooms within it to multiple people because there's mad niggas at homes. So that type of help, those are the people who really need it. And to me, in shelters, you don't need it. You got a case manager there. You have the hired worker, staff worker that works at this
But
building.
they're not teaching you how to manage your money.
Maybe not, but if you're a good, like I worked as one, you're looking around for programs that people can do. So you're like leaving flyers and stuff around for them to be able to access and find. If you're a good caseworker, that's what you're doing. If you're working in like these other men's shelters, you ain't doing that. The landlord found a friend of his to come watch the house for him, make sure that nobody breaks stuff. Those are the houses that need it.
Can I just say this to you, to your point? Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime.
If he can fish. I've learned I suck. I'd be screwed.
Well, you know the analogy.
No,
you see what I'm saying?
It's one of those things that teaching, it's in places then that we don't have the people. It's needed more in the places that, at least that I see here in Suffolk, in the places that we don't have the people is where we need someone, which is where somebody, an agency of a sort that comes in that does this, like, hey, we're going to direct you to setting you up with getting you to and from this meeting, coming and doing something with you in person, like just something is needed for outside of within social services housing.
I agree. And I will say this. With all of the amazing and brilliant minds within this country, if I was able to, we were able to just come up with this on the whim right now, with some true thought, dedicated every single day, we can get this goddamn thing done, I believe. But for some reason or not, they don't want to have that done. But
because they don't really care about us.
Booyah! You see how that thing comes full circle, people. Listen here, this has been one hell of an episode of ZenChaos. I am Dean. That over there is my guy Zen. I really hope that you people had a good ride with us. I hope you learned some things. I hope you're gonna go research some things. Like, share, and subscribe to this bad boy. Leave a goddamn review. Let's help this thing keep going, keep growing, right? You got anything for the people, Zen?
Get strapped. I'll be there one day. But now, gun education is huge. That's one, like, I think we should all just learn about it, even if you're not going to go out and get one. Just learn things about them so you just make more educated comments on it, at least.
Yes. Listen, we're always about gun safety over here. Second Amendment, bang, bang, do what you got to do.
All day.
To the arsenal all the time. Peace, love, and motherfucking just chicken. Excuse me, this has been ZenChaos, and we are out of here.